Greetings, everyone, and happy Friday to you. I'm so pleased to welcome you to the last trading session for the month and, of course, for the new week. It has been quite an interesting month of June for every one of us in this community, as we have been able to fairly take advantage of some trading opportunities that gave us significant amount of profit. However, this week was a little bit on a choppy situation where we saw how price action has most of the time been range bound, and this was due to economic factors which we deliberated on during the course of the week. So it has been quite an interesting month for us, for every one of us in this community. I congratulate those who were able to maximize the potential opportunities that we were able to identify during the course of the month. So now that we are going into the last trading day of the month and of the week, there are quite a lot of psychological factors that we also need to take into consideration while we also use our technical skills to identify trading opportunities and as well manage our existing trade. Now, coming to the last trading day of the week and the last trading day of the month, I always emphasize that we have to keep our eyes on potential erratic movements, and of course be cautious of any increased volatility or potential reversal pattern, especially when price action has been moving in a particular direction. And most of the time when it comes to the last trading day of the week or the last trading day of the month, we normally see price action move in the opposite direction, which is always a reflection of profit-taking activities. So we are going to be taking all this into consideration while we review the current market structure in getting ready for both the London and the New York session today. So I welcome you all once again. And for those who are joining us for the first time, I'm glad to have you guys around. And in fact, what we simply do here on a daily basis is to come together in anticipation of both the London and the New York session. During this time, we will be reviewing and managing our current positions while we also aim to position ourselves strategically for today's trading session. So we always treat the 1 hour time frame, which is our execution time frame. And so we did a couple of videos during the course of the weekend where I emphasize and explain how we are going to be positioning ourselves ahead of the week. So this live session is more or less like a follow-up detail to those videos. I have the videos in the link of the videos in the description box of this current video you are watching, so you can check them out at your own leisure to see how we got to the point we are in at this point. So with that being said, here we shall be diving right into the business for today. But please, I will appreciate if you can help me confirm if the sound quality is good. From my headphones here, they are sounding quite well, but sometimes I used to get the wrong information. But if you can, please let me know in the comment section that the sound quality is good and there are no freezing, as this will help me to make appropriate adjustment to make our experience here much more better. So I will be glad if you do so. And on that note, let's dive into the business for today. So the first thing we normally do in this community is to check the economic calendar to see what everyone in the market is looking forward to. And you all know that these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. And by monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and, of course, specific technical patterns. So right here on the economic calendar, we are going to be looking forward to the US is going to be releasing what we all consider the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation, which will be coming up later today. So today, Friday, June 20th, we have June 30th, sorry. we have a couple of high impact macroeconomic events coming in from the economies of the UK and the US. So for the UK, we already had the GDP data for Q1 came in. That came in about 2 to 3 hours ago. and we saw how the data came in just as expected. So there was not much difference in that regard. So we are going to be looking at how the market is reacting to this event and what we are going to be doing ahead of these sessions. Then in about 3 hours from now, we are going to be witnessing the core personal consumption expenditure price index, which is normally released by the US Bureau of Economic Analysis. And this index gives us an average amount of money that consumers spend in a month. So it's a significant indicator of inflation actually, and the higher reading is seen as something bullish for the US dollar, while a low reading is seen as negative for the US dollar. Now, the previous data came in here at a variance of 0.4%, and the general consensus here is projecting a 0.4% too as well. So we are going to be looking forward to what the actual data is going to be like. Then we also have the same core personal consumption expenditure price index. For this one is the year on year. The previous one is the month on month, and the year on year too, we have a 4.7% previous data, and we have a general consensus projecting 4.7% too as well. So the belief here is that things are still the same. So we are going to be looking forward to what the actual data is going to be like. And one thing about these fundamental factors is that we always see the evolution of a structure on the chart before this event, which will also help us to be able to position ourselves in such a way that we can catch any potential opportunity before, within, or even after this event. I see this comment, Richard Blackett. Thank you very much for that confirmation. I'm really, really grateful. So I'll see that as a positive feedback. So with that being said here, and with the information we have gathered on the economic calendar, let's dive right into the business for today. And as usual, the first instrument we are going to be taking today is the USOilSPOT, of course. So on the USOilSPOT, we have an interesting situation here since the beginning of the week. So I would always like to do a quick review of how the week has started for us before we go into the details of what our expectations is going to be like for today. And of course, we're also going to take into consideration the fact that today is the last trading day of the week and month, and there is a likelihood that we could be having some profit-taking activities which might move in the opposite direction of the prior leading price action. So right here on the 1 hour time frame, this is what we saw at the beginning of the week. We saw how price action was ranging between that $70 level and the $69 area. In fact, it was just a $1 range most of the part of this week, as you can see here. And at the beginning of the week, it actually gave us a flat channel to work with. And you know how we do it. Whenever we have this kind of flat channel, we want to wait patiently for structures like a breakout of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. Then in addition to this flat channel, we were able to spot this trend line, which was a major yardstick to guide our trading activities at the beginning of the week. And one of the things we thought at the beginning of the week was that price action was likely going to be going to the upside, and we were thinking that this bullish trend line will be one factor that will help us guide that bullish move. And you know, we had a buy position trigger at one point, though we were taking out at stop loss, so we were in loss as at the first position we took on the USOilSPOT this week. However, later on Tuesday, we saw the breakdown of the structure. We saw the breakdown retest of that bullish trend line, which of course was a signal for us to get ready to sell. And with our sell stop order placed below the $69.50 level, which happens to be our key level for the week, we had our first sell position for the week triggered. And in fact, we were able to maximize the potential of that move by adding more position as soon as price action broke down that $69 area. So with this position here, we were able to scoop over 200 pips on that one. So as at the first half of the week, Though we had an initial loss, we were able to recoup the loss and then make some profits on top of it. Then later into the midweek, we begin to see some choppy situation go on above that important demand zone we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So we saw a consolidation around that $68.20 level and the $67.55 area to give us an insight into the level of indecision around that area. Then I also called our attention to what the structure was looking like on the higher time frame. So we went to as far as the 4 hours time frame to look at what is really going on in this particular market. And I had to refresh our memories as regards to what we saw at the beginning of the week, where we saw how price action had been ranging between the $73.50 level and the $67.50 area since the beginning of this month. And with this situation, we knew definitely that there was an indecision in this particular market. Then something interesting has been happening within the structure, and that is that area around that $67.50 level. So we saw how this area has been a very strong demand zone as sellers continue to struggle whenever price action gets into this area and giving way for buyers to take over the market. We saw how buyers took opportunities here. We also deliberated on this one here, and we saw what happened during the course of last week. And this was this week here. We saw this consolidation phase exactly above that demand zone. And I mentioned here on Tuesday and Wednesday that we are going to be leaning towards a bullish momentum, considering the fact that price remains above this robust demand zone. However, we said if the opposite happens, that is price action breaks down the structure and retest of structure, then we shall be thinking of selling. But we never saw this kind of scenario happen at all. So we had ourselves positioned above the $68.20 level to capture this bullish move on Wednesday, and fortunately for us, we had the buy position triggered, and since then price action has been climbing, finding new highs in this particular market. So going back into the 1 hour time frame here, you will notice that after during our live session yesterday, we also identified a new ascending trend line, which we said we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for the later part of the week. And that trend line was situated here. And in fact, it has been a major determinant of price action since Tuesday of this week. And as you can see how this level has been, our price action has been respecting it at one point in time. We saw buy pressure here. We saw selling pressure. We saw the breakdown retest here. We saw selling pressure around this level. We saw rejection again. It was quite an interesting trend line we have here. So we saw the breakout, and since the breakout of that trend line to the upside, you will see our price action has remained above that trend line till this present moment. And for the fact that price remains above this trend line, we have no other choice than to continue to look out for buying opportunities in this particular market. Now, with the situation we have here, I shared a commentary this morning as regards to this current setup. So let's quickly run through my commentary on the USOilSPOT today. So if you are with me on the TradingView and Telegram platform, you would have seen this update. So I shared something here this morning as regards to the current setup. So I said here that over the past 48 hours, the price of the US oil has stayed within a limited range, fluctuating between the $69 and the $70 level. As mentioned in a previous broadcast, we are currently awaiting a breakout from this range, after which we look out for confirmations before considering opening a position at this particular point in time. And if you look at the live chart here, we see how price action has broken out and retested that zone around the $70 area to trigger our buy position for today. If we scale down into the 1 hour time frame, you will see how the breakout retest of that structure happened around this point. So with this situation here, we already have a buy position triggered, and it's currently running with about how many pips in profit right now? So we have about 47 pips in profit on the USOilSPOT as at this point. So as long as price action remains above this trend line, this ascending trend line we identified here, we shall remain bullish in this particular market. Then for those who had missed out on this opportunity, if you had missed out on this one, well, we also have a structure here which happens to be the highest point price action has been for this month, for this week, and that is the $70 60-cent level. Let me just put it this way. So we have the $70.60 level. So you do want to mark this level out on your chart. So we have the $70.60 level situated around this area. So we shall place this at the top right hand side of our screen. So we shall be looking out for another breakout of the structure to maximize the potential of this move. Now, one thing about this new highs in this kind of market, like I always say, normally we should be waiting for a breakout retest of that structure to happen before joining any momentum to the upside. That is what we shall be looking out for from a technical standpoint. However, if you had been enjoying this bullish momentum since the beginning of this week, and that means you are in profit already, so you have profits that you can use to leverage around that area and risk waters there. So what you can do at that point, if you're already running in profit on the USOilSPOT, that is, if you are taking advantage of the buy position on Wednesday, then you could have a buy stop order above that area to capture and test waters around that area to see if the buy position will click. But if you are not in a profitable position on the US oil, and probably this is your first position for today, well, I will suggest that you wait for a breakout retest of structure before considering buying the USOilSPOT for today. So on the USOilSPOT, we remain very, very bullish on this commodity. However, if price action drops to the downside, considering the continued selling pressure here. So we saw selling pressure here during the New York session yesterday. And so if it so happens that we see another rejection of this area, then the tendency of sellers coming in becomes higher. So if this kind of scenario happens, then we want to start considering selling, of course. And for me to sell at this particular juncture, I would want to see a breakdown retest of this trend line to start considering selling the USOilSPOT for today. So what we are going to be seeing is something like this. And remember that we are not getting too excited when price breaks down the trend line, as it could still turn out to be a false breakdown. So we want to see confirmations that sellers are gradually gaining momentum, which would reflect on the chart as a retest of structure, retest of the $70 level and the trend line, where continued selling pressure below the structure will definitely give us the opportunity to sell. And then we have levels that we can use to maximize that bearish move if price action breaks through the structure. But trust me, I will be with you in the comment section on both my TradingView and Telegram platform to give you updates as at when due. So right now, we remain bullish on the USOilSPOT, looking out for more opportunities at the breakout retest of the $70.60 level. So if you have any questions regarding what I just explained so far, or you need me to shed more light in one particular area you really don't understand, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, and at the same time give you the time to mark out these levels on your charts, or screenshot my screen if you want to, before we move on to the next instrument. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you very much. I just got a call to inform me that there was no sound. Thank you for letting me know. I really do appreciate that. So I hope the sound is now on right now. And no one was telling me anything in the comment section. Why? All right. So I think I'm back now. So what I'm trying to say here on the GBPUSD is that in the last 50 hours now, we have been noticing our price action has been range bound in this particular market, where we saw our price has been curtailed between the 1.26500 level and the 1.26100 area to give us an insight into the level of indecision in this particular market. And with this kind of scenario, you know how we do it in this community. We want to be as patient as possible to wait for structures to really mature before we jump into any position at this point. Then I was saying that before I go into the details of what we are going to be looking out for today, I want us to quickly run through what really happened at the beginning of the week and how we took advantage of the trading opportunities we have. And one thing about the GBPUSD is that so far so good this week, we have been very, very profitable as we have been selling this commodity since the beginning of the week. Though we had a buy position which gave us a stop loss, that was the first position we took right here when price action broke out of the 1.27400 level, and in fact that move did not last long before we saw the price drop to the downside, taking us out of that position. Then we went on to see how the market went on to consolidate between the 1.275 and our weekly key level sitting at the 1.2700 area to give us an insight into the indecision at this point. Now, something interesting happened during the second half of the week, the beginning of the second half of the week, where we begin to see selling pressure resume around this area. Some of us took advantage of this sell position right here, as I got calls and text messages as regards to taking a position around this area. And I told you it was in the middle of the night in this part of the world, so I missed out on that one. But I was privileged to capture the selling opportunities after price action did break down, retest this ascending trend line we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So because of this breakdown retest of structure here, it was quite a good opportunity for us to join a bearish momentum to the downside, and we were privileged to take advantage of that move and also added more position to maximize the potential of this bearish move. So we had the breakdown of the 1.27100 captured. We also captured the breakdown of the 1.2700 area as we rode the move all the way into that TP target at the 1.26100 area. So we had roughly close to 300 pips already on the GBPUSD for this week. Now, with the situation we have here, we would need some level of patience to capture any potential move around this point. Now, one of the key parameters that we are going to be using to guide our trading activities for today is this descending trend line we spotted during the second day of this week after connecting the series of lower highs. And one fact here is that despite the consolidation phase we have in this market, in as much as price action remains below this trend line, we would have no other choice than to look out for selling opportunities in this particular market, where this range we have here could finally transition into a trend continuation pattern, probably in the form of a bearish rectangle, a flag pattern, where the breakdown of the 1.26100 area will be the signal we are waiting for. Then a confirmation at a retest of structure will be that beautiful opportunity we shall be looking out for to join a bearish move to the downside. So if this does not happen, we are not going to be considering selling the GBPUSD for today. So this is what we are looking out for to sell the GBPUSD. However, this old flat channel could also turn out to be a reversal pattern, and that will happen if price action breaks out of both the 1.265 and the bearish trend line here to insights and opportunity to buy the GBPUSD. And one thing about this structure is how the 1.26500 level, a very strong psychological area there, also shares a confluence with that descending trend line that we identified at the beginning of the week. And if we do have a breakout of that descending trend line, then it will be a clear sign that this trend line may no longer be able to negate the bullish attempt anymore. And in fact, this will be the first time price action will be breaking out of that trend line, which is another sign that buyers might likely be pushing price to the upside. So for us to buy the GBPUSD, we are going to be waiting for a breakout to happen. Remember, we are not having a buy stop order here. We are going to be looking out for retest of structure. So once a breakout happens, we scale down into our lower time frame. It could be the 5 minutes, the 3 minutes, the 1 minute time frame. What we want to see here is a retest of either the 1.265 or the trend line that was broken, and then the appearance of buying pressure, giving us signs that sellers are finding it difficult to drop back below the descending trend line. Then at this point, we shall be considering buying the GBPUSD. And in fact, we have a couple of levels where we can use to also maximize the potential of this bullish move if price action breaks out and retest the structures. So we have one here at the 1.2700 level, which a breakout retest will definitely welcome more opportunities to buy, and the breakout of the 1.27250 and of course the 1.27500 level. So these are key levels that we can actually use to maximize the potential of this move if price action ever breaks out of these levels. Then one thing I would also like to state here that we need to be very, very careful when price action gets into these levels we just identified here. That is the 1.27, the 1.27250, and the 1.27500 area. As soon as price gets into this area, we are going to remain patient and wait to see how price action will be reacting to that zone to determine if we are going to be adding more buy position or getting ready to sell. Remember, it's more of a bearish week for us on the GBPUSD, and these structures could serve as a very strong selling niche to push price to the downside. So we need to be very careful when price action gets into these levels. Trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my trading view and Telegram platform to give you updates as at when due. So I will keep you posted in my comment sections, and that is how we are going to be looking out for or managing a trading opportunity on the GBP USD for today. So let's mark these levels out on our chart, and trust me, I will be with you in the comment section to give you updates as at when due. So if you do have any questions regarding what I just explained so far, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the comment section and see if there are any questions before we move on to the next instrument for this week. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that my explanation are well clear and well understood. So we shall be moving into the XAUUSD. And on the XAUUSD, a very, very interesting situation we have here as well, as since the beginning of the week, we have been selling this commodity. And look at what has been going on here. So initially, during the first half of the week, we saw how price action was ranging between the 1,935 level and the 1922 area to give us an insight into the level of indecision at that point. And in addition to the structure was this ascending trend line, which was a major determinant of price action for us as it helped us to be able to capture that bearish move at the beginning of the week. So we had a trend line here, and you know how we use our trend line. We agreed on Monday that if price remains above the trend line, we shall continue to buy the XAUUSD. But if price drops below the trend line, we of course want to be looking out for selling opportunities. Though we had a buy position when price action broke out of the 1928, that was on Monday. Price action moved about 50 pips in our favor. We moved our stop losses and we were taken out at break even on that one. Then this led into the breakdown of this bullish trend line, as you can see here. And after we saw the breakdown of that trend line, it was a clear sign that we might likely be seeing a bearish signal at that point. And one interesting thing that happened was our price action came back to retest the structure, and it was followed by continued selling pressure around that $1928.50 level to give us an opportunity to sell the XAUUSD, and we continue to ride the move all the way to the downside on this instrument. Then later on the week, yesterday we identified a trend line, which we said we were going to be using to guide our trading activity for the later part of the week, that is the second half of the week, as you can see here. So we have a trend line after we connected this pivot low and highs, as you can see here, and we were using this trend line as a yardstick to guide our trading activities in the last 48 hours. And if you look at what has been going on here since Wednesday, price action has been a little bit on an indecisive phase, as you can see, price ranging between the 1913.50 and the 1902 $1.50 level, giving us an insight into that indecision around that area. Then I shared a commentary this morning on the XAUUSD. I would like us to go through it quickly so that we can all be on the same page here. So there is this update I shared this morning. Okay, I can see a comment from Richard Blackett. I have buy on at 1.265. Should I hold on to it? Which one are you talking about? Which instrument are you talking about, Richard? Please let me know in the comment section. I will be checking from time to time to see your comments. Okay. So the XAUUSD now, this morning I shared this update here where I said, in addition to the volatility experienced yesterday, it is evident that the market has been trading within a range with price action confined between the 1913 and the 1902, underscoring the prevailing uncertainty. From a technical perspective, it is advisable to exercise patience and await indications of trading opportunities arising from a breakout or breakdown of this range. However, given that the price has seemingly broken below the highlighted red trend line, we might be anticipating selling opportunities. Nevertheless, we maintain a state of alertness and await substantial confirmation before making any decisions. Now, if you look at the chart here, I showed an arrow that we are going to be selling at the breakdown retest of the $1905.50 level. And if you had captured that opportunity, as you can see, price action is currently running in our direction at this point with about 40 pips, 41 pips thereabout on the XAUUSD. And if you had captured that move, well done to you for being on standby to catch that move. And I'm of the opinion that we want to be moving our stop losses at this point, because I'm still very skeptical about price action still remaining within this range between the 1905 and the 1893. So we need to be very, very careful here. So I wouldn't be thinking of adding more position unless the new structure we have here gives us significant confirmation that we really actually need to see a strong bearish pressure to join a trend continuation to the downside. So from this market structure here, as long as price remains below this trend line, I will hold on to a bearish bias and see how this will play out in the next couple of hours. But if there are any significant updates, I will definitely let you know in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as at when due. And so on this one, we shall remain bearish here. Let's see how price action plays out. And depending on how it reacts to the structure, if I can see a breakdown, then a retest of the $1,902.50 level, then I can consider selling or adding more position to my existing trade. Please note that we need to see significant confirmations before we join any opportunities based on this current structure we have right now. And looking out for buying opportunities at this point, well, for me, I will be suggesting that I want to see price action take out this trend line before start considering buying the XAUUSD at this juncture. And a further confirmation at the breakout of the $1,913.50 level will be one thing I will be looking forward to maximize the potential of this bullish move. So aside this, we remain bearish on the XAUUSD. So I will be pausing at this point to see if there are any questions before I move on to the next instrument. And you can also use that time to mark out these levels on your chart so that you can use it as a reference point when you're about to make your independent decision. So I can see Richard Blackett says, okay, GBPUSD, okay, you said you bought at the 1.265. Let me look at this quickly. So you bought at 1.265. Well, now you see what I'm talking about here. You shouldn't have bought at the 1.265, sincerely speaking. I mentioned in my comment, if you are with me on my TradingView and Telegram platform, I mentioned there that we are not going to be opening a position unless we see confirmations on this chart. Now, if you look at the 1.265, it also shares a confluence with that descending trend line, as you can see here. So it wouldn't make much sense to buy around that area unless we have a significant breakout of that level happen first of all. Then we see a retest of structure confirming that buyers are getting stronger at this particular point in time before joining any bullish move at this point. But since you've already bought here, well, it now depends on where your stop loss is at this particular point in time. So personally, your stop loss should be around the 1.26100 area, just right below the previous low here, to see how it's a risk we've already taken already. So you just allow the trade to run through. I don't like tampering with my trade whenever I've taken a position on that trade. So you should be having a stop loss of, let's say, about minimum of 40 pips on this one, which is quite huge. So just allow your trade to run through. Ensure you have your stop losses on your position. Personally, I just said here that we are going to only buy if a breakout retest happens to the upside. So please keep this in mind, everyone. It's a breakout retest. Even when price drops below the 1.261, we want to scale down into our lower time frame to see a retest of structure before joining any potential move. So our decision today is not going to be compulsive at all. We are already profitable on the GBPUSD so far this week, so we can afford not to even take any trade at all for this week. But if we do want to take one, let's wait for a confirmation to happen before joining any position in this particular market. I hope I made myself clear, Richard Blackett. If not, please let me know. I will try as much as possible to shed more light on it. Okay, let me know in the comment section if you are fine with my explanation. So all right, that is that on the GBPUSD and the XAUUSD, and in the absence of no questions on the XAUUSD, so I will just move on to the last instrument for today, which is of course the USDJPY. Now on the USDJPY, we have been profitable this week anyways, as we have been buying this instrument. So far so good, as we continue to see price action find new highs and new lows in this particular market. And one of the parameters that has been our our guide since the beginning of this week is the couple of trend lines, the ascending trend lines we identified here at the beginning of the week. And in fact, it has helped us to ride this momentum all the way to the upside, making us to maximize the potential of the move by adding more positions at the breakout of key structures that we identified during the week. Now, with the situation we are witnessing right here, let me zoom right into the current structure. As you can see here, price action has been ranging between the 144.900 level and the 144.400 area in the last 18 to 20 hours now, giving us an insight into the level of indecision in this particular market. And in fact, I shared a commentary on the USDJPY on my public platforms today. So if you are on my TradingView and Telegram platform, you would have gotten an update in that regard. So let's quickly look at what I said here as regards to the USDJPY. So this morning I shared this commentary about an hour ago, and I said here that all our buy position in this trade closed with modest profit, while the current market structure is indicating a potential loss of momentum by the bullish trend. However, we remain vigilant for buying opportunities at this stage unless price action shows a clear drop below the ascending trend lines accompanied by evident selling pressure. Until such conditions occur, we will be on the lookout for buying opportunities, particularly at the breakout retest of the 144.900 level. Now, going back into the live chat, this is what I was trying to explain here. So despite the fact that we have been riding the wave of this bullish momentum on the ascending trend line we have here, one thing you would notice in the last 24 hours is that as soon as price action got into that area around the 144.900 level, we begin to see some selling pressure resume around that area. And one thing here is that we can see how buyers are struggling to break through that level. And for the fact that we have this situation coupled with this shooting star candle we saw here during the early hours of today, so we had a shooting star candle within the zone, which is a clear sign that reveals the presence of sellers around this area. So with this situation here, it is more of a sign that sellers might likely be coming in at this particular point in time. So with this situation I have here, I'm of the opinion that sellers are gradually gaining momentum, but we are yet to get a confirmation that sellers will be pushing price to the downside. And one of the reasons why I said we have not yet gotten that confirmation is for the fact that price still remains above the trend line we spotted at the beginning of the week. So if the price still remains above this trend line, we will have no choice than to continue to hold on and look out for more buying opportunities. So in that regard, for those who are already profitable on the USDJPY, you could afford to place a buy stop order above the 144.900 area to capture a bullish move if price action still remains above this ascending trend line. However, if price action does not go that far and it continues to the downside, then definitely we want to be looking out for selling opportunities. And for me to sell, I want to see a breakdown of this trend line happen. And remember, we are not getting too excited when the breakdown happens, as it could still turn out to be a false breakdown. So we still want to see some confirmation to happen before we join a bearish move. So as soon as the breakdown happens, you scale down to your lower time frame, like the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes time frame, to look out for retest of the trend line on the 144.700, while continued selling pressure below the structure will be welcoming an opportunity to sell the USDJPY. Then we could have a sell stop order again below the 144.400 to maximize the potential of this bearish move to the downside. So this is how we are going to be managing our trades on the USDJPY. So I implore you to mark out these levels on your chart. So we have the 144.900, where we are going to be looking out for the breakout of that structure to capture a bullish move here. So I said for those who are already profitable on the USDJPY, have a buy stop order above the 144.900 to capture that move to the upside. However, if this is your first position on the USDJPY position for this week, then I will suggest that you first of all wait for a breakout to happen, retest of structure, then we can now be thinking of joining that trend to the upside. So that is how we are going to be buying this one. And to sell this one today, we want to see price break through that trend line to the downside, that final ascending trend line here, which is highlighted with a dotted thin line on your screen. Retest of structure, continued selling pressure on our lower time frame to confirm that sellers are good. Then we sell, have a sell stop order below the 144.400, then join that trend continuation to the downside. So that is how we are going to be managing this trade today. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to pause and see if there are any questions in that regard, and as well use the time to mark out these levels or screenshot my screen if you want to, so that you can use it as a reference point when you're about to make your independent decision on the USDJPY. So I can see on Motosho 21, do you run mentorship class? Yes, I do run a one-to-one mentoring program. So if you do want to enroll, let's talk about it if you fit into the criteria to be part of the session. So you can chat me on my Telegram platform. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. You can chat me there, or ask Master Sheriff, or check in the description box below. You will see my link to the Telegram. Chat me there and let's talk. Okay. Richard Blackett is asking, yes, fine with your comments. I placed the trade yesterday. It's just the way, it's just that I was trying to hold on to it. I extended my stop loss, which I not good. Okay. I'm just trying to phantom what you are trying to say here. Okay, so your stop loss is where? Hope you placed your stop loss at where I said it should be, because with the GBPUSD structure we have here, you cannot have anything below above the 1.26100 level. So your stop loss should be around here. Be ready to let go of the trade, please. That is one thing that most traders, that's one mistake most traders used to have. They tend to hold on to a trade even when the trade is not going in their direction. So try to let go of the trade. There's quite a lot of opportunities in the market you can easily take advantage of. So just have your stop loss right below the 1.261, and if it takes you out, it takes you out. There's no problem about that. You can still recoup your loss later next week if the market presents one. So have your stop loss. Is very, very necessary. Have your stop loss on your position. Very, very important. I cannot overemphasize the importance of having your stop loss. So let's see how it will play out. It's already a mistake, but you've learned from this one. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, and of course I will be giving updates on my TradingView and Telegram platform as at when due if there are new structures on this one. All right, Richard, I hope I made myself clear. KE is asking, how can I become a profitable trader? Well, the key word to become profitable, consistently profitable, is consistency. If you have an approach, if you do have an approach, stay true to that approach. If that approach is giving you losses, stay true to the approach. Over the extended period of time, you begin to realize why you are losing, and you can tweak your approach accordingly to make you become profitable. So to become profitable, consistency matters a lot. So stay consistent. Don't jump from one strategy to another. Don't jump at all. Stay with one approach. And when you stay with one approach, over time, that approach will teach you how to tweak your strategy accordingly with due time. So it's quite easy. Consistency is what makes you consistently profitable. Okay, KE. And if you want us to talk one-on-one, you can chat me up on my Telegram platform. I have the address in the description box below. All right, everyone, it has been a wonderful moment with you guys. I really do appreciate, and it was very, very interactive. I look forward to seeing more of this interaction during our live session. And I wish you best of luck during the London and New York session today. And of course, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as we continue to monitor price action. Then don't forget that we are going to be running the XAUUSD live monitoring platform in about 2 hours from now. Let me share the link to that XAUUSD in the comment section so that you can anticipate it as soon as we come on live. And don't forget to support this project by liking it. By liking the video, it helps the YouTube algorithm to push this video to a wider range of traders who would also find this video very useful to them. So please support the project, click the like button, and help this video to be pushed to a wider range of audience. And thank you very, very much as you do so. So I'm trying to look for the link on the XAUUSD so that we can be part of the session when it finally kickstarts. So I will be sharing the link in a moment. Just hold on a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So I already shared it. You want to click on the notify me button when the live session starts so that you can be notified when we come online. Please, I'm yet to see some reactions. Please give this video a like and support it, as it will help the YouTube algorithm to push the video to a wider audience. And thank you very much as you do so. So on this note, I wish you best of luck during the London and New York session today, and I still look forward to seeing you right in the comment section on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, as well during the comment section on the XAUUSD live monitoring platform. So do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye. And do have a wonderful weekend too as well, okay? Bye-bye.